All right, board members, I don't have the budget sheet. Hold on a minute.
Did we get one?
Yes, it is.
They put some handouts on there, but I think there's only, there was only like the one-page spreadsheet
had
and what
so
was
many
in the
handouts.
papers, but I do have packets for you, and this will be a lot of duplicated information that you got at the workshop, but, so that there would be handouts today in case public came.
They came, but not for this.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Thanks, Mark.
6, 7,
We're so
8. So
glad,
there's
Mark.
8. There's,
Come to Mark, he's here.
He's probably got one. He probably keeps up with his stuff.
I have one. The same?
Is that them, Nikki?
No.
I have a bunch more over there if anybody else wants one.
This is it.
So I'm going to talk some, and if y'all don't want to hear it again, just tell me and we can quit when you want to, but there are a few things by statute I do have to discuss, and it has to show in our minutes, which we have to provide when we submit the trim package, so I have to have proof that I have discussed some of the items. So we are here today to present, discuss, and adopt the tentative millage rates and the tentative budgets for the 2016-2017 school year. You've each been given a packet of handouts that we'll briefly go through. In order to be in compliance with the Florida Truth in Millage trim guidelines, I have to first discuss the rollback rate. And you all have a handout in the packet that I just gave you, and I think it's online also, the rollback rate. Now, what the rollback rate is the millage rate that it would take to bring into the district the exact same amount of funds, tax funds, that we received in the prior year without looking at the effect of any new construction that has occurred during the year. That rollback rate for our district is 6.9475 mils. And this rollback rate will bring in only 97.87% of the tax revenues that we received last year. Our proposed millage rate for 2016-2017 is 2.12% less than the rollback rate. The first page of your handout you've got on the rollback rate, on the millage, just talks about the rollback rate. If you'll look at page 2 of the millage handout, that is the millages that we had in 2015-16 and the proposed millages for 2016-17. And you'll see that, again, we are decreasing the millage rate. We have been decreasing the millage rate steadily ever since I've been in the position of CFO and when Mr. Thompson was here too. And a lot of public, including my husband, would be like, you know, people are used to paying this, why are you reducing it?
Right.
But the state sets the required local effort, and we cannot levy more than the required local effort, and we get the discretionary, and we can do the 1.5 capital outlay mills. The only way I can go over more than that is that we do have to go before the public and get a vote to increase millage. So our millage rate for 2016-17 is 6.800 mills, and this is 0.124 mills less than last year. So we are doing a millage rate that has decreased. If you'll look at page 3 of the handout, if nothing else changed about the value of a property of a tax owner, you'll see by the little chart on different values how much they'll save in taxes, the tax piece that goes to the school district. They might pay more in taxes overall, but it might be if one of the other taxing authorities increase their millage. And I apologize, I'm not up on what everybody has done thus far. But as far as your school district goes, we are again lowering the millage rate. If you have a appraised value of your property as $100,000, you'll actually save $9.30 over what you paid last year in school taxes. Now these are handouts, and I do apologize that most of you, that you all saw already, so I'll just briefly touch on them. I provided you again the 8-year comparison of property tax values, millage, and revenue within Putnam County, and I'll speak briefly to it because a lot of you weren't at the budget workshop. From 2009-10 to the present budget year of 2016-17, our property base has declined from $4.2 billion in 9-10 to $3.6 billion currently. At the same time that the property values are decreasing, our millage rate for the district has also declined by 1.013 mills in that same period of time. So combined together with those two things, our property tax revenue for the school district has decreased $7.4 million from what we were collecting in 2009-10. Moving forward, your next handout in that packet is the analysis of capital dollars, because when we do a millage, the biggest majority does come into the general fund, but we're also allowed to do 1.5 mills, which is included in the 6.8 mill total. It's for capital projects. And this is a decline from 7.8 through 16-17. The tax base did go up slightly by about $25,000 more than last year, and we are collecting PICO special maintenance funds, and the projection shows a slight increase for this year, and not taking into account the First Coast technical funds, because technically, even though they're in our budget, I don't really consider them our funds. They are making improvements to our building that we've leased to First Coast, and it will provide benefits for our children, but I'm wanting to not consider those as part of the capital because it's something new and not something that we've had before. So you'll see that Putnam has seen a decline in capital funds of $4.2 million for the year compared to the amounts we received in 2007, 2008. Your next handout, everyone would have saw it in the paper, and this basically, we are required by law to advertise in the paper what we plan to spend that 1.5 mills on. Just because it's on here doesn't mean we have to spend it, but you can't spend that 1.5 mills on anything that you have not advertised in the paper that you plan to spend it on. So there's a listing there, and the language is very specific. You have to go by trim guidelines on even the way you can word things. So it's, you'll see there, we're going to continue on with the things we've been doing, where we'll fund our maintenance department, and we'll, we're all schools are allowed, because they all get a portion of these dollars. We have a spreadsheet that we divide to the schools based on square footage and the age of their building being a factor in the calculations, and it's $400,000 that we give split between all the schools for their discretionary use in capital funds. So that's furniture, fixtures, equipment, things like that they can do at the school level. Your next handout is, I wanted to show you briefly, the capital projects millage budget. That 1.5 mills brings in $5,250,000 to the district, and by the time we can completely fund our maintenance department. That's $3.4 million. We give the $400,000 I mentioned to the schools. We have flexibility in statute to pay for a portion of our property insurance. That's $555,000. We have, in the statute, we're also allowed to pay for the current year portion of our master purchase agreement on all the buses we bought a couple of years back. That's $351,000, and we're getting a freezer for Career Tech for Interlochen High School. So that comes total of $4.7 million. So that leaves another $503,000 that will be distributed to the maintenance / construction departments to do district maintenance and construction needs as they see fit for this year. Then moving forward, you'll see the next handout that was also in the paper, which is required by law to be in the paper. This is a one-page district summary budget. It compresses our budget down. To me, there's not a lot anyone that's not very familiar with school district budgets can take away from this. When they look at these fund sources, they really wouldn't know a lot about it, but I will say that internal services and enterprise, for anybody that's looking at it, those are NEFEC funds. We are just NEFEC's fiscal agent. All of their funding runs through us. We pay their bills, we pay their people, and they pay us a small indirect fee every year for doing that. Those monies are not ours, though.
We were doubled up with the NEFEC budget, and Asia probably didn't know that.
I sent her some stuff. I don't know if you were able to get that from that, but yes, internal and enterprise are not our dollars.
I have a question. You're on budget summary, yes. The maintenance of plant, that's coming from the capital projects? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. The two things that I always call to your attention from the general fund, because all the other funds have very specific uses. General fund is our most flexible fund, and it's the one that I spend the most of my time on and everything. And this year we've got an $89,599,000 budget for the general fund. You know, that's been decreasing every year too, because we were up mid-90s, and last year we were just over 90 million, and now we're at 89,599. The first thing I want to call your attention to is under the first column, general fund, about a quarter of the way down, you'll see fund balance net position July 1st, 2016. That's actually what our carryover fund balance for the general fund was once all was said and done, closing out the fiscal year that ended June 30th. We had $4,973,100.07. I provided you the next page that will show you how that figure is broken down, because all of it's not true money that's available to be spent. And for those that, you know, are not familiar, inventory's in there. We've already bought it. It's an asset, so it's part of our fund balance, but it's not a cash item, of course. And we have project balances within Fund 100. They're state and local projects that have strings attached, so there's really nothing we can do with those either. That's $1.1 million. We have some purchase orders still open out there, so those are carryover encumbrances, and that's $229,000. Then the law mandates that we hold back, if you will, a rainy day fund, a 3% mandated fund balance that's unreserved. And so that, of that 4.9 million, 2.3 of that is that carryover 3% reserve. And then what was left over that rolled back to the pot after all revenues received and budgets closed. And what's happened is you start with a budget. You don't know for sure exactly what you're going to get each year. Even our main component of our budget, which is the FEFP, that changes 4 or 5 times throughout the year based on whether they've collected enough revenue in the state, whether more students come in. Different things can affect the amount of funding that we receive, so it changes throughout the year. So throughout the year, every month, we will do budget amendments. We'll bring in additional revenue, or we'll reduce revenue based on things that we learn as we go along. But let's say that I didn't budget really well and we collected $2 million more, I wish. Then this budget, you know, there would be more of a rollover at year end because I collected more than I budgeted, so that's going to roll through the pot. If all the money's been budgeted out for departments and schools to spend, but they don't spend all their money, and that happens, that rolls back to the pot. So if our expenditures are down over what's budgeted, we get money back, or if we collected more revenue than we had budgeted, we get more that rolls back to the pot. So that's always a good thing, and I will say in all my years here, that's the lowest rollover that I have ever seen. I hate saying it, but that's the way it is, you know, and it's been going down every year for many, many years, and it's going down in every school district, not just us. So we're in that wonderful club that everybody's getting to enjoy right now. It's not a happy place to be in, though. The other item that I would call your attention to on this page is our proposed ending fund balance of, as of June 30th, I see it says down there 2016, but it should be 2017. I'm expecting an ending fund balance of $3,345,296.42. Again, that is broken down on this page 2 that shows the same amount for reserve for inventory, though at year end when we do a count, that'll change. I always set aside some reserves because when we do receive a calculation from FEFP and they have reduced us, it's much easier to have a reserve sitting aside, because when they reduce your budget, you have to reduce the revenue side because you're not going to get it, but you also have to reduce somewhere that you've got in the expenditure side. So it's a lot easier if I have some reserves sitting over there on the expenditure side to pull from. McKay, one of the items is reserved for McKay scholarships. That's going to hit. There's no way around it. I budgeted $250,000. Every year up until last year, that was enough. Last year, it jumped up to $277,000. So this year, I stayed at $250,000. I had a hard time getting everything balanced this year because, again, you know, the needs are there. All the programs out there are good programs, and it's things that we need to do. It's just being able to have the funds to do it. I set aside a FTE audit adjustment, and that's basically from the transportation calculation when Jennifer comes in every year and audits our FTE, transportation, teacher certification, those areas, to be sure all of our students had IEPs. If we had anybody teaching out of field, they have to send letters home to the parents if their teacher's out of field. If all those pieces aren't taken care of, there might be an audit finding. And they're about 5 years out when the funding reduction hits. So this $25,000 And it's, I think it's really 24,000 and some, I'm not sure of the exact change right now, but it's for like 5 years ago. You know, that particular, it takes them that long to catch up, but they do reduce your FEFP by that audit adjustment when the time comes. And I've got in $100,000 reserved for FTE audit adjustment. That's if they do prorate our funds, and they have already, we got the second calculation in Putnam's already been prorated by 20, I'm wanting to say it's about 24,000. I have it written down somewhere here. So when we do have an official budget and I can start doing budget amendments, I'll pull from that $100,000 reserve. Because already they, whether it's more students that came in than they expected or whatever happened, they've already prorated every district in the second calculation. So with that happening right away in second, there'll probably be one in third and fourth calculation also. So the next thing that I have, I gave it to you at the workshop too. I'm not even going to really speak about it. This is just the way that I get started. This will show you percentages of utilities, how much of our recurring revenue we spend on utilities, how much we spend on salary and benefits, which is the biggest. It's currently at 82.82%. Categoricals, we receive the revenue in, but we've got to set it aside because it's for a specific purpose. That's 2.82%. Our charter schools, we receive the revenue, but we have to turn around and give it to them. So our 3 charter schools, that's 3.97% of our general fund recurring revenues. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that again, this year, I'm budgeting that we're going to spend 101.98% of our recurring revenues, which that's why you'll see the fund balance is projected at less than we start the year with. I've cut and I've cut and I've cut, and you know, I don't know where to go from there. We are going to have some meetings together, the staff, see if we can look deeper at the departmental budgets, because as I mentioned in the workshop, when the departments see their budgets, I will have not made any friends, because I cut $1.5 million from departmental budgets. I was able to give them back their capital funds, capital outlay funds for, like, whether it was computer or software licenses or anything along that line. I took it out of the general fund and put it in a capital outlay fund, because you can spend capital outlay dollars on those type of purposes. So they're going to see a significant hit. You know, if we get word, if we get more students so that more funds come in, there'll be more things available, and hopefully, you know, throughout the year. Because we did start the year last year too with only a $5,000+ unreserved fund balance estimated, and 700 and something thousand, you know, rolled back in. So that 5,000 by the end of the year had increased to 700,000. I'm hoping and praying for that again, and even more than that, you know. But you have to build your budget on what you know, and it has to be balanced. So, we will keep you updated as things go along. I've also given you the analysis of the base student allocation. Again, it finally hit above how 2007, 2008 started. But again, that doesn't account the effects of inflation. So we're currently we got $6.26 per student more than we got last year. That's not enough to even fund our pay for performance that we're required by statute to have. So that's another reason why we go in the hole. We're eating to fund balance, because we've got unfunded mandates that we have to do, but they don't give us enough new funds each year to keep that up. So we did see a small upswing in the base student allocation of $6, so I'm happy that it was an increase, but it's not enough to make me do a happy dance. I gave you also a handout on the analysis of the FTE, and again, things are looking up slightly. We had been in declining enrollment for 10, 12 years. Last year we had an increase. That was the first increase we had had in a long, long time. And then this year we have a projected increase of 5 students. So it's an increase, it's not a decrease, so that's a good thing. The next handout, again, I touched base on it in the workshop, and I've spoken to a couple of other people who have interest in it, like Mark, our fund balance. We have a history of our fund balance being in decline since 2010, 2011. The Florida school districts as a whole, their average financial condition ratios have also been in decline. So I did provide a handout with a chart that shows the Florida school districts and Putnam on top of it. And we ended 2015, 2016 with a financial condition ratio of 4.79%, which is great that it's above the 3% state mandated amount, but in 2010-11 we were at 12.8, 2011-12 at 11.80, and then suddenly our ERA funds that they had given us that we were allowed to use in the general fund went away. So we had the first significant drop. 2012-13 we dropped down to 8.3, and then 8.2, then 5.3, then 4.79. So, but we're mirroring the state. You know, there are some very wealthy school districts that might not have seen a decline, but the average of all 67 school districts, they did see a decline. And then again, I gave you a copy, and I updated, I went in and made sure that the things that had been spent in the board's budget, I gave you that again. And over time, y'all had asked that we take some items out of the board's budget, maybe put it in more appropriate departmental budgets. So as such, the budget for the board went down from a $3.5 million budget in prior years to under $700,000 for this year. But I tried to put items in there so you could see specifically what all was being paid for out of the board's budget. I've got a copy of a column, what was spent in 15-16 and what is currently in your budget for 16-17. I gave you the one-page handout that you did not get at the workshop that talks about how much is the district's budget overall. Because you would have seen in the paper that we have a $170 million budget. What I like to do is I like to take out things that are double counted. Like you've heard me say several times about the transfer for the maintenance department. Well, that's in two different funds because the money's coming in as revenue to the general fund, $3.4 million, but it's showing up as a transfer in revenue, but it's also in the capital fund as a transfer out, so that's double counted. Our health insurance is double counted because any fund that pays a person, there's an expenditure object for the $4,500 for the health insurance. So that's an expenditure in like the general fund for all the people that we pay, but then at the end of each month, we transfer that dollar over to the group insurance fund and then pay the United Healthcare bills and stuff. So it's in two different funds. I took out all the NEFAC funds because that's not truly our money, so that brings our budget down to $134 million, I'm sorry. Then I like to take out beginning fund balance because that's leftover money so we can get a true idea of what the recurring revenue is for this year. So it brings all funds down to $98,231,223.19. And that's a big jump down from the $170 million, but I wanted to show what's truly the district's new revenue for the year. Your next handout, just take this and look at it. It's just something we've always done. It's not necessary, but it's got some good information in it. It shows by each fund how it's broken down: state, federal, local dollars, how we spend in each fund, you know, what categories they're in. So you can look at that. It's not, again, it's not anything that's required. And really, that's all I have to discuss, and the next item on the agenda would be to call for a discussion and roll call vote on each fund's millage rate and each fund's budget. I guess before that, I will ask if there's any questions of me from the board, the public, the attorney, the superintendent.
A question?
Okay.
Kathy has a
This is all very confusing, as we all know, and I try not to be confused. All right. On the agenda, item D1 says tentative general fund budget of $89,599,000. The paper we got handed out says 88. I mean, there's a $1.3 million difference.
Let me see which paper that do you have? I'm sorry.
I think it was the second handout, 2016-2017 budget, Fund 0100/10100 budget.
This one.
Yes. No.
Oh, that one? Okay. That is just my Excel spreadsheet. That doesn't have carryover projects in it or anything like that, because that's a state, and it even shows you down on the bottom of the last page. That is just a little spreadsheet where I get started on the budget, and that doesn't have the $1.1 million in it. That is the state and local projects with strings attached, and it doesn't have inventory in it because it's not a, if you add in those two figures to that down there, that's going to be your difference.
Okay.
what you have there, yeah, is just my little beginning sheet, and it should match the one-page budget that's in the paper. It's 89 million.
That will be approved.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
All right, who will read this off item by item?
I'll be happy to.
Okay, would you like to do it?
Adoption of tentative millage rates and budgets for the 2016-17 school year. One, tentative required local effort millage rate of 4.552 mils.
Second? Oh, no.
Need a motion?
Need it first.
Motion?
Motion?
I make
I'll
a
second
motion.
it.
And a second from Ms. Crawford. All in favor say aye.
No, we have to
Roll call.
Okay, District 1,
Yes.
District 2, me?
Approve.
Yes. Okay. District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Two, tentative discretionary millage rate of 0.748 mils.
Call off.
Make a motion?
Second.
Second? Can I make a second as a chair?
I did.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. District call, Charlie.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yeah.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Three, tentative capital outlay millage rate of 1.50 mils.
So moved?
Second?
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Four, tentative total millage rate of 6.800 mils, which is 2.12% below the rollback rate.
So moved?
Motion.
Need a
Second.
Second from Mr. Wright.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Adoption of tentative budgets for the 2016-2017 school year. One, tentative general fund budget of $89,599,199.04.
So moved?
Have a motion.
Second.
Second from Mr. Wright.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
No.
District 5.
Yes.
Two, tentative debt service funds budget of $226,825.77.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yay.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Three, tentative capital projects fund balance budget of $9,186,342.33.
So moved?
A motion and I need a
Second.
second from Ms. Cummings.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yay.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
For tentative special revenue funds budget of $14,890,888.28.
So moved?
Second?
Motion and a second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yay.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Five, tentative internal service budget funds budget of $24,634,506.21.
So moved?
Second?
Motion and a second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Six, tentative trust and agency funds budget of $129,971.48.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Seven, tentative enterprise funds budget of $32,124,606.15.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second from Mr. Wright.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Total district tentative budget in its entirety of $170,792,339.26.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second from Mr. Wright.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
No.
District 5.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to advise the property appraiser that Tuesday, September 13th, 2016, at 5:05 PM in the school board meeting room, 200 Reed Street, Palaca, Florida, a public hearing will be held to consider the final millage rate and the final budget.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Before we adjourn this meeting, I'd like to say that there is somewhere out here a big, thick booklet of the entire budget by function, object, cost center. So feel free to look at it at any time if you have questions about anything, or if you want me to email you the printouts, general fund or whatever, I'll be happy to email you down to the department school level how all the money's budgeted out. And I can show you a column of how much in that area was spent this year, how much they put in as a budget request, whether it be department or school, and how much this tentative budget is. And that'll show the reductions in the departmental budgets that I had to do. So I'll be happy,
General fund, please.
I will be happy to email you that, and it'll be tomorrow if that's okay.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Would anybody else like that, or just to Kathy? Okay, all right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, and this concludes our public hearing on the budget. Board members, do you want to reconvene and say anything? I think we need to, did we already direct Mr. Bell?
One more item you have to deal with.
All right. Hand me your-
I'm glad she keeps up with us.
Yeah. I've already put my stuff up. I've got a
What
gender,
is it?
I've got a gender ID party for my 10th grandchild at 7:30. I'm looking forward
Well,
to
it's
it.
20 to 6.
I know it. We'll be out of here if you keep asking.
What?
You've got a what?
Find out what the gender of my 10th grandchild is.
How are you gonna do that at the party?
They're gonna do it at a party. I've never heard of one, but evidently
It's
others
big
have.
now.
Jason
On a-
and Matt.
There'll be a big explosion at Corky Bell. Well, I need a budget. I mean,
It's
a
right here.
agenda.
Here.
You got
Yeah, you
it.
have
All
to
right,
reconvene the meeting.
Hereby reconvene the meeting. All right, I'm looking for the one.
Discussion.
It's the top of the page.
Discussion, input, and consensus to advertise amendment to policy number 5517.01 is presented in Neola 17-1 early release update.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second from Ms. Cummings. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Reports by board members. District 1.
That's Nikki.
So moved.
You want to report? Anybody want to talk?
I do.
I do.
Ms. Crawford, I'll waive my
I
time.
will just say that we had a great meeting for Feed the Need. So many volunteers and great people coming together to help our students. The needs are great. The workers are few. If you want to volunteer, I'd be happy to oblige you in that need. So feel free to contact me. A man overheard our meeting at Beef O'Brady's and sent the waitress with a $100 bill. So that's how well.
Yeah, that's great.
When
That's
you
great.
spread the word, it works. So keep spreading the word. The needs are great. A lot of hungry kids out there. It's a fact. So that's all.
Ms. Crawford.
Well, I was just thinking all day today about all our many teachers and support personnel who reported back to school after a very short summer.
Very.
I've already gotten several texts from good friends that said they were worn out after one day. So I know they've had busy days. But it brings to mind that I've counted up at least 6 of my former students who are starting as new teachers in Putnam County today. And it just makes me so happy, and I'm so proud of them. And I'm also excited that Panther football is about to start
Amen.
real shortly. So I want it to get cooler, but all the football teams will be starting.
Yes.
Even Crescent City. and
Crescent City and Interlochen as
And
well.
I got him a coach. Got him a
But
good
I'm
one.
a Panther.
Ms. Jorgensen.
After 35 years, it's
Just to
hard not to.
clarify something, not that anybody really cares, but with the budget, $7.4 million was collected in 09-10 by the district in millage. That's 25% less we're getting. That's a lot. 25% is a quarter of what we collected. 7 years ago, we're not getting. That's huge. That really is. One thing, I have an idea on the budget, if two or more of you will go along with me in directing the superintendent, I'd like a list of cars and where they are again. I'd like a list of cell phones and where they are and who has them. And I'd also love to get a list of all of our many, many leased copiers with a number. Because it seems to me every meeting or every other meeting, we're approving leases, $400 a month, $300 a month, $450 a month, $350 a month, over and over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know what the more economical solution is, but I think if we look at that number, we're all gonna say, let's find one. You know what I'm saying? Hire somebody in-house. that
Those
can
numbers
fix them.
should
I
be
don't know,
available.
but
Yeah.
I would just like to know that number. I don't know if it's easily pulled up on the budget as one figure, because it comes from all departments, all schools are leasing copiers. So,
Is it something that we could just have the email to all the board members? Is that possible?
You can just request it and we'll get it from you.
Yeah.
Just email it to board members.
Yeah, do you mind?
the copiers thing, that would be good. I don't know who would do the cells, and I guess Mr. Simons would do the cars.
The problem is if you have school-based management, you let principals use their discretionary budgets to utilize these things, and, I mean, you're gonna be
Cars?
telling them to.
No, they don't do
Cars and
copies.
Copiers?
No, I'm talking about.
Still a
copiers.
contract.
But I mean,
Until we
hey,
approve
Hey,
it.
we told Block High they couldn't put up a sign a few years ago.
this part of we
They
didn't,
spend their money on a sign.
I wasn't here.
Well, we, the board,
Oh, okay.
you're part of the board,
I am now, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be easy because it's always a contract that we approve for those copiers.
Exactly. And from the same people, I think it's Xerox.
Yeah,
Blue
yeah.
Water.
It'd be
That's
good
what
to-
Terry Wright mentioned at the budget workshop, was that we look at all contracted services and agreements that we have. And so I was planning on maybe we would get together and have more workshops as the year progresses on how to do some things. You know, I have ideas as well, but there are things that you got to meet on and collaborate about. But it would be helpful to
Well, we're
look at that
meeting now.
information. Yeah. I'm not ready to have a budget hearing now, we just had it, so I'm ready, if you're through questioning, to go on to the board attorney.
Okay, I'll be through.
Okay,
I'll
Charlie.
save that one for next meeting.
Okay.
Things are going well in the legal department. We're staying busy on a lot of different fronts. Edge will be here next meeting to discuss their F grade.
I'm gonna be gone.
And as
Nashville.
as the sponsor of Edge,
Nashville.
there are some duties that the board has, and I'll be in touch with you in advance of that meeting. And we're continuing to monitor the First Coast Technical College situation and how that is now in the hands of the St. Johns County School District and how that affects us here in Putnam County. And of course, the Campbell Building sale, what we voted on today was sort of a roadmap for a prospective purchaser, but you're not under contract, so it was asked during the break, can someone else come in with a new offer, a higher offer? And absolutely, yes. It's still open. So if you get any questions out in the community,
And where all did you say, because we were questioned by the audience about it being listed?
yes, we're required by the Florida statute and rules to advertise it in the newspaper, which we did. And we have had a few people come through, either looking at it or fielding more serious inquiries. I know Mr. Gatchell's been very accommodating for people who have been interested in the building to take them
He's our
through
real
and
estate
look at it.
agent.
So that's.
Did I see something about it on Putnam County website? I know I've seen it on some website, that it was for sale with a phone
Would we
number.
want MLS listed?
I guess it's just something that I feel like we need a deadline. If we don't go with Mr. Weeks's idea, then we would need to put it on the market, but And we lose a percentage, 7%.
If Charlie is.
Then you have to pay a realtor, and that, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, we
for a
gotta
year
pay
and a
the,
half.
If the attorney is paying, is negotiating a contract, I don't know, Charlie, you would have to answer that. That would, you know, does that prohibit anyone else from intervening as long as you're negotiating, which I wouldn't think so.
Oh, you put
Somebody
the-
walks in here and offers $10 million, which that's, you know, good
Yes.
luck, yeah. Yes.
so how many times was it advertised in the newspaper? Just that one time?
I believe it was twice.
Yeah.
I have that in file, I can
Send with
provide
the ad.
exact dates.
There's a card that goes with it.
Easy for you to say.
Okay, are you through, Mr. Douglas? Yes. Ms. Criswell?
We've had a great start to the new year, lots of plans, lots of principals and teachers working together. It is very tiring to come back and get started and do a full day when you've had some time off. But this is happening around the state, lots of school districts starting August 10th this year. And everybody feeling the burn.
It'll be nice in May.
Yes, it will be nice in May. It'll be all worth it in May for them. But we're looking forward to a great school year, and I appreciate working with you all and looking forward to this year. And thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Yes.
without further ado, that concludes our meeting, and I get to go to agenda item.
And I just want to say
party.
officially.